Right. Tonight's doubleheader isn't until 7, right? So we don't have them. Miami just lost to UCF, right? Yesterday. How far is that from you? They have a heck of a football team. Great atmosphere there, too. Okay. So UAB was trying to foul on the first one?
What?
UAB was trying to foul on the first one?
Yeah.
How about on the second one? Kirk's.
I think the second one they were just playing it out, I think.
Right.
What's this guy's name? Jerry
Pollard. Pollard. Like Scott Pollard. It's him there. Yeah. There may be somebody on earth who knows less about that stuff than me, but I doubt it.
What's that?
Tupac or any of that stuff?
No.
That'd be a no. Gotcha.
Yes, the keys.
Starting lineup first for Nebraska. At guard, 6'4".
Thank you, sir. Schmutz. Schmutz.
Enthusiastic Blazer.
30, black on the line. So we're about a minute away from you on 4. All right, red is on the line. We are tracking red. Yep, somebody's got a camera key open. All right, stand by, ready, roll red. 5 to tape. Roll red, track.
It's the week before Thanksgiving in Charleston, and that means hoop heaven. Can Teran Petaway light it up again for Nebraska? Will Rod Rucker grab every rebound once more for UAB? Day 2 of the Charleston Classic is next. Welcome to ESPN College Basketball from the Charleston Classic. Today on day number 2, it will be the Nebraska Cornhuskers versus the UAB Blazers. First of 4 games here today, all on the ESPN networks. Later on in the semifinals, it will be UMass and New Mexico, and tonight, Davidson versus Clemson. Hi, everyone. I'm Bob Picozzi, along with former Providence coach Tim Welch. Thanks for joining us for this Friday matinee. Tim, it would be tough to imagine a more agonizing defeat than the one that UAB suffered yesterday at the hands of New Mexico. So how did the Blazers bounce back to play another game less than 18 hours later?
Well, usually the kids, the players, they leave it in the gym 5 minutes after it's over. They've forgotten about it. But I think this one really stung. But I think UAB's got a tough bunch. They've got a great coach in Jared Haas. He'll regroup them. I think they're going to play well today.
And in our one-on-one, a couple of guys coming off career best performances.
Well, Teran Petaway for Nebraska can do a lot of different things. He doesn't shoot it great, but he gets to the rim with both hands and authority, gets to the free throw line as well. Will play a little two-guard today with the absence of a guy who goes with the knee injury. And for UAB, Chad Frazier had 7 turnovers in the first 10 minutes of the game and then settled into a role, not a point guard role, a scoring machine. Unstoppable yesterday for UAB.
And joining Petaway in the starting lineup for Nebraska, point guard Ty Webster got in early foul trouble. Wasn't much of a factor yesterday. Walter Pitchford is shooting 58% from three-point range. And for UAB, besides Frazier, Rod Rucker had 18 points and 20 rebounds yesterday. And C.J. Washington is averaging 17 points per game. Jumping center will be Pitchford in red for Nebraska and Farrell Alihadjet for UAB. Tossing the ball up, Jerry Pollard working with Kelly Self and John Gaffney. And we are underway from Charleston. The winner of this game will advance to play in the 5th place game on Sunday against either Georgia or Temple. The loser will play for 7th place. Ali Hadzik missing the sideline jumper, and an early rebound foul will be called on C.J. Washington. What's the keys for a Cornhusker win, Tim?
Well, Nebraska yesterday, they're going to play the pack line defense, and they have to have quick rotations because UAB is going to try to get into the gaps. And, of course, an early jump is important just to test UAB's mental attitude if they're ready to play out of the gate.
Siobhan Shields takes it right to the rim, and the rebound knocked out of bounds by Nebraska. And how about for UAB to get out of here with the victory?
Well, clearly they've got to clear their head, and hopefully they had a nice breakfast this morning and ready to play ball. It's not like football. You're right back at it, which is good because that one yesterday stung, and they've got to get into the lane. Nebraska's a little weak defensively around the basket.
The game yesterday lasted so long that they might have skipped dinner and moved right on to breakfast. Rucker with the miss, and the rebound is pulled down by Petaway. He was terrific yesterday against UMass. Petaway launches the deep 3 and climbs up and over the backboard. Tim Miles is in his second season as coach in Nebraska. Did a terrific job previously at Colorado State. Wants very much to play an up-tempo offense. Jordan Swing, one of several players who fouled out yesterday in the double overtime game. Deep three by Frazier, and he picks up where he left off yesterday.
Well, Frazier is just a good-looking player right out of the junior college ranks, but the UAB coaches, I think, weren't worried about the mental aspect, more of the physical. You look at Frazier and Rucker played 46 and 48 minutes, respectively, just yesterday.
UAB is coached by Jared Haas. He played first one season at Cal, then played for Roy Williams at Kansas and coached under Williams at both Kansas and North Carolina. This is his first head coaching job. Swing gives to Ali Hadzik, and how about the help defense there by Siobhan Shields?
Good recognition on the backside, and Ali Hadzik got loose, but looked like he was all the way to the rim, but no thank you, sir.
24 seconds left on the shot clock for the Blazers. And here's the steal. And then Webster lost the handle, went off his shin, and it will go right back to UAB.
I really thought a lot about UAB and how they would bounce back this early in the day. But, you know, I think, as we said, you know, the kids sometimes do forget. But that really stung yesterday. I mean, that up 6 with under 12 seconds to go. They found every way to kind of give it away, and New Mexico found every way to take it from them. But they look like they're ready to come out today and take it to Nebraska.
Frazier wants to take it to the rim, and he will get fouled. First foul of the afternoon on Ty Webster, and first on Nebraska. For those of you who did not see the UAB New Mexico game yesterday, it was a three-pointer at the buzzer at the end of regulation that forced the first overtime. Frazier misses the three, rebound Ali Hadzik, and then Shields wrestles it away, and then New Mexico came back and hit another three with 2 seconds left in the first overtime to send it into a second OT, and then won it in that second overtime.
Ali Hadzik's got to put his big mitts on that. He can't let somebody take it right out of his hands.
Webster was stripped as he drove, last touched by UAB with 20 seconds to shoot. Cornhuskers are 3-1, so's UAB. Pitchford on the handoff to Webster. Shields takes it into traffic, and he's blocked by Washington, and that will be foul number 2 on C.J. Washington, and he'll have to leave.
Well, coming into yesterday's game, C.J. Washington was their top scorer and player, but he struggled a little bit yesterday. But I think this was pretty solid defense. But he just kind of threw that left arm down just at the last second to draw the foul.
Siobhan Shields comes from a very athletic family. His dad, Will, was a 12-time Pro Bowl linebacker for the Kansas City Chiefs. Also has a sister, Sanayika, who's a center on the Drury College basketball team. Off the miss, it comes out to number 13, Chad Frazier. He scored 34 in the loss to New Mexico. Rucker down low, kick out. Number 5, Robert Williams in off the bench. Swing with the miss, and Pitchford with the rebound.
Nebraska, good job of just sealing off the paint, blocking out.
Number 1, Deverell Biggs has checked in for the Cornhuskers, replacing Webster. Entry pass and called for the foul, bumping the cutter, was Robert Williams, his first and 3 on the team.
Nebraska's used to playing in a foul fest. As yesterday we witnessed 82 free throws in their game with UMass.
Nebraska committed 34 fouls yesterday. Side jumper by Rivers is no good. Rebound Rucker. He had 20 of them yesterday. Swing.
Nebraska got back, and at times yesterday really were hurt by UMass, even after a score, and not getting back and setting their defense.
Ali Hadzik, low block. Rucker jumper.
A nice inside-out play there. Ali Hadzi not carving out great space on low box, but good recognition to help, digging in a little bit, pitching it back out for the open jumper.
Petaway drives, loses the handle to Williams, and here's Frazier looking for something in transition. Can't get it to go, and a foul on the rebound will be called on Petaway. His first and 2 on the Cornhuskers.
Well, Chad Frazier finds a way to knife into the lane. He's got nice size, long arms, and the ability to raise up with both hands under control at the rim.
Well, Ray Gallegos sprained his knee yesterday, and we were told he would likely not play today. Well, here he is. Less than 4 minutes in, and he's in the ballgame off the bench.
Nebraska staff giving us a little Bill Belichick.
Look
one way, fake right, go left.
Petaway gets Nebraska on the board. It took 4:07 for the Cornhuskers to score.
Well, sometimes what happens, though, a kid says, I can't play, and then he warms up a little bit and says, Coach, I want to give it a try.
Rucker, side jump. As great as Rucker played yesterday, 18 points, 20 rebounds. He was a ghastly 3 for 22 from the floor. But without those 20 rebounds, UAB wouldn't be in the game. Biggs looked like he just tried to draw the foul. Instead, he makes the hoop.
I think it was ghastly, Bob, because he was gassed. He played 48 minutes, and he just played his heart out. And these kids from UAB, give them all the credit in the world, though. They come out today, they've got a lot of life.
Robert Williams with the miss. Rebound, Pitchford.
The pack line defense of Nebraska working well, which means they're going to build it from the baseline out, and they really do a nice job sealing off on the glass.
Three-pointer by Biggs. He's 3 for 4 from three-point range early in the season, his first season as a Cornhusker. Swing hoists the 3 over Gallegos. No, it's a 2. His foot was on the line.
A little offensive flow going here now. Not a lot of defense on the three-point line. Kind of a soft hands down on both ends.
Well, that's a pleasant change from the game we saw yesterday, Nebraska UMass.
Well, there's no more clutching and grabbing. That won't be allowed anymore.
Pitchford loves to fire from deep range. He's 6'10", and he's shooting 58% from three-point range. On the drive, it's Frazier. And he'll earn a trip to the free throw line.
Well, there's not much defense on the interior, so you got to pop back out. A little loose on the exterior as well. Red hot early, both teams. Yes, and then I'll freeze it, and then I'll we'll clear it.
Nebraska runs 10-2. Nebraska runs 10-2.
Textbook.
10-2.
Just like Fran McCaffrey at Lehigh taught you.
A 10-2 run has Nebraska out to a 10-7 lead, and if you want to know how to box out and rebound. Let's go inside the play.
Okay, Bob, now this will go in Tim Miles' rebounding video that he could sell online and make a lot of money, because this is textbook. Look at the wall they build right here. All the Nebraska players just sealing their men off, not allowing UAB any clearance or angle to the rim, and they just gang rebound. No chance of a second shot. That's textbook.
And that's against a UAB team that is a terrific rebounding team. Entering today's play, UAB has out-rebounded its opponents by 17. They out-rebounded New Mexico yesterday. Tim Miles says, we want our guys to play fast. I like the fact that we can penetrate. I think we have guys who can take advantage of the new rules and get to the foul line.
Well, they're going to have to play that way. You know, they don't have a lot of width up front, or girth. You know, Smith did a nice job yesterday down the stretch of battling UMass's bigs, but when you get into the Big Ten, their lack of size will have to be overcome by quickness and just team defense, and I think they've got the guards to attack in transition as well.
Frazier is a terrific free throw shooter, 91.7% for the season entering today. Shields. Gallegos with the pull-up. Rebound pulled down by Robert Williams.
Gallegos missed that pretty far to the left, but he looks pretty quick on the move and off the bounce.
Jumper by Mahinty is no good. That time they did not box out. Swing. Smith sets the high screen. Now comes the other way. Rucker steps back and hits the jumper.
Oh, he's a nice looking player, Rod Rucker. After the second chance opportunity, just good patience by UAB. They looked like they were going to force something in the middle of the floor, and then good ball reversal and found the open man on the baseline.
Gallegos has that left knee heavily bandaged. Smith was terrific off the bench for the Cornhuskers, using his body inside just like that.
Well, that's what these tournaments are for. Sometimes you find something that you didn't know you had, and Leslie Smith is just a guy who's a bear to the basket, finds the angles.
And Mahinty misses the dunk, but again, Nebraska 2 times in a row. We talked about how they boxed out. They didn't do it that time. Here's Biggs. Suspended for the first 2 games for violating team rules, so this is his 3rd game back. Traveling violation on Petaway. And UAB's signature so far this season, Tim, has been their ability to board.
Well, they do it because they get after it, not only from the back line, they've got a strong front line, but their guards help out as well. And they go forward at both ends of the floor, offensively and defensively, but they really seal their men off well.
Well, that rebound total against New Mexico skewed somewhat because the game lasted 10 minutes longer than usual, much to the chagrin of the Blazers.
I looked at Jared Haas this morning when he walked in here. He looked like he
hadn't slept.
No sleep, no food. No, you just put yourself on a quiet death watch and hope you can get up and breathe and when those things happen. But they've come out today and played with a lot of spark and are attacking.
Now, you coached for 13 years, Division I. Did losing get any easier with experience?
No, it got harder. And this is why, because you got guys like this come out and can stick it in the barrel. And Rucker is very good. Slide into the baseline, square up, knock it in.
Score, and then I'm going to show you font 2. Doing show font 2.
Nebraska's hit 5 of its last 6 shots and leads by 1. This is day 2 in Charleston. Our 4 winners yesterday on the left, the 4 losers on the right. Winners play winners, losers play losers today on day number 2, and the biggest winner of all was New Mexico.
Well, they made all the right plays. UAB didn't make all the right plays. Previously, they had the 6-point lead, and they let Kendall Williams go all the way to the rim pretty quickly. And then this guy let him on a pick and pop, let him wide open. So they made a few defensive errors. The one thing I thought they did pretty well is Robert Williams was trying to foul Kendall Williams at the end of regulation. They thought they gave the foul at halftime. Even talking to coaches today, they thought they actually did foul. But you got to go in there and make it pretty definitive. You can't just reach in and hope the referee calls it. But they've bounced back today. Got a little life in their eyes, and it's in the past. And as we spoke about with the coaches today, it's better to happen now than in March.
This is what UAB has done so far this season. The 4 teams in this side of the bracket, Nebraska, UMass, UAB, New Mexico, were a combined 11-0 when they arrived in Charleston. Frazier has firmly established himself as a player in his first season at UAB, played his first 2 years at Gulf Coast Community College in Florida. Some terrific players come out of that league.
Good coaching in that Panhandle League with Gulf Coast, Tallahassee, and North Florida State.
Webster with the miss. He continues to struggle. And this is Frazier. Preston Purifoy, number 24, has checked in for the Blazers. On the screen and roll, Ali Hodzig rolls to the hoop.
Good offense by UAB, just spacing the court, a little 2-man game. And Ali Hodzig has got that good footwork and the ability with both hands at the rim.
So that play's all about the read.
The read, you have to read the defender and understand that the offensive player rolling to the basket has to find that open angle.
Smith again using his body well, and he'll get to the line.
Well, the reason this worked as well is, but you look at the floor, Bob, it's really spaced, and the weak side is cleared out, and it's really a 2-man game on one side of the floor. And when you have a big guy that can also clear space with the pick, but also has that ability to catch the ball on the move and finish, then you have something special.
How about the job this young man did off the bench yesterday?
And again, you find out a lot about what you want to do with your team, and you find a lot about what you want to do with personnel when you play these 3 games in 4 days this early in the season. And I think Tim Miles saw that yesterday. And you're always trying to tweak and find out what exactly will work the best, especially when you have a lot of new pieces. And Smith looks like he's a keeper and will get a lot of major minutes this year for Nebraska.
Leads the team in rebounding and block shots and field goal shooting off the bench, coming off that 12.10 rebound effort. He made the second free throw. The Cornhuskers had missed their first 3. Ali Hodzig. Frazier for 3. He has played as well as anybody in this tournament so far.
Conference USA better be aware of that man.
Webster penetrated, set up Shields. He couldn't finish. Here's Rucker the other way. Frazier dumped down to Ali Hodzig, puts it on the floor, and gets the foul from Smith.
Well, Frazier, look at him here. He's here in the corner, and then what he does is he will slide up and just, as they clear the space, just pop to that wing, and great delivery too, right into the shooting pocket. You've got to make sure that pass is on point.
Faro Ali Hodzig, born in Bosnia, now lives in England. Began his college career at Fordham. Was there for 2 years, redshirted one and only played 1 year. And then he played a year at Southeastern Community College in Iowa. This is his second and final season as a Blazer.
That's interesting, you know, the difference a little bit in Ali Hodzig and how he's playing today. Yesterday against Alex Kirk, he floated a little bit down to that short baseline where he's comfortable. But today he's doing a lot of his work in the lane where he has a big size advantage over Nebraska's bigs. Six-point
Blazers lead. Petaway spin move. Nicely done.
Well, that's what they needed to do. Petaway's been very quiet because Robert Williams did a nice job of denying him the ball on the wing. That time he just outworked him and fought his way to the rim.
Coming off a career high 28 points yesterday. Williams blocked by Petaway. Great hustle by Rivers to keep the possession. The baseline drive and spin move by the diminutive Benny Parker.
Nebraska causing some problems here playing the 2 point guards. Parker, a nice dish from Webster.
Nebraska's defense has been much more active the last couple of possessions. That time Webster gets called for the foul.
Nebraska's going to be successful in the Big Ten. They need to get this guy the ball and make sure he catches it in areas he can make plays. And that time it's just the C's part of it. And that's a good move by Petaway, but also bad defense by UAB, allowing him to get all the way to the rim from the 3 point line.
Petaway in his first season as a Cornhusker after transferring from Texas Tech, where he started 11 games 2 years ago, sat out last year as a transfer. Frazier gives to Rucker. He fires. Rebound batted up in the air, and here's Petaway. Pitchford pull up. Rebound winds up in the foul line to Ali Hadzik. Rucker baseline jumper. Nobody boxed out Robert Williams.
Well, Nebraska never got back and got set, and Rucker has pushed the ball up the sideline, and Nebraska jogged back and didn't identify who they were guarding or who they were supposed to block out. Way too easy.
Robert Williams already has 4 rebounds off the bench. When we illustrated how effectively Nebraska boxed out, that might have been the only time they've done it in the whole game. Petaway knocks it down.
That was big time right there because Robert Williams was right in his grill, chased him all the way from the baseline up to the top and contested, but Petaway, a lot of length, good square up.
Ali Hadzik tries to answer and does, and we get a foul. Looks like it's going to be called on Petaway. It's the second.
Not sure what that was about either.
It's like it was away from the play.
It looked like he was away from everything.
So now coming together to discuss things are Jerry Pollard and Kelly Self.
I think they're discussing if the foul occurred before the shot.
White. Can I get
And they will take a look at the monitor. So Petaway may have to sit down with those 2 fouls. Lower left corner. Well, clearly the shot counts.
Come on.
Not sure where the contact was.
You could call that on every play. That's not a foul. Let's play some basketball. I mean, I like the new rules. They're great, but that's
not one of them, is it?
Let's get serious. That's not a foul.
No, Pollard is motioning to Tim Miles with his hands as if that's what Petaway did.
Tim said, if they call that in the Big Ten, there won't be anybody left ever in any game.
Nebraska, these are the guys who transferred in. Deverell Biggs, first year here. Petaway from Texas Tech. And Walter Pitchford, also in his first season after playing 1 year at Florida, where he appeared in 13 games.
And again, we talked about it yesterday quite a bit. The new rules are in effect, and it's going to take everyone time to adjust. The players, the coaches, and the officials.
Off the missed free throw. Gallegos gets the rebound, and Parker will walk it up the floor. So Petaway on the bench with 2 personal fouls, as is Webster.
Well, that's tough when you're your coach and you've got your best player sitting on the bench because of just something, you put a fingernail on someone.
Pitchford for 3, his second of the day.
Well, UAB has to understand That's where Walter Pitchford is most comfortable. The big fella likes to square up from downtown.
2-point Blazers lead. And Rucker is called for the travel. Well, we told you about the transfers. That Nebraska has some new players, but that's not the only thing that's new for Tim Miles' Cornhuskers. Explanation coming up.
I'm good. I'm coming right back to a package. Stand by. Ready up on A. Tracking A underneath the mic. Ready roll A. Ready up on A.
Well, Nebraska has a brand new home. It's called the Pinnacle Bank Arena. It hosted 15,000 fans on opening night when a pair of sophomores led the way against Florida Gulf Coast. Siobhan Shields led everyone with 28. Teran Petaway, 17 points. It's called the Pinnacle Bank Arena, and he banked that one in, didn't he? Nebraska shot over 50% from the floor and got the win. Coming up on the Nebraska schedule, either Georgia or Temple here in Charleston, then home for Northern Illinois. And how about Miami, Tim, last night losing to UCF?
Well, Miami's going to struggle this year because they're so young. They're going to have their ups and downs. They've got some good young players, but really the story is about the new digs out in Lincoln, and what passionate fans, and how about the facilities they have for not only football but basketball and volleyball, and every seat for every game is sold out for Nebraska basketball this season.
Ticket sales up 95%. They also recently opened a new basketball practice facility for men's and women's basketball, the Hendricks Training Facility, so their facilities are top shelf. Off the miss, Shields, and Jordan Swing comes away with the rebound.
UAB came out of the timeout, changed the pace of the game a little bit, went to the 2-3 zone.
Gallegos called for the bump, his first, number 8 on the Cornhuskers. So to the line to shoot the 1-and-1 will be Jordan Swing, and he just could not stay on the floor yesterday. Tim picked up 2 early fouls, only wound up playing 14 minutes in a 50-minute game.
Well, UAB came out and attacked New Mexico in the second half, and it looked like they had them dead in the water. They just kept going to the rim, whether it was Frazier on the perimeter or Rucker on the baseline or on the backboards, and they will learn from that loss.
Into Shields, back out to Gallegos. He might be their smoothest shooter.
Well, nice inside-out play against the zone there, and Swing just a little slow on the closeout. He's got to get up on Gallegos. He can knock that down all day.
Ali Hodzik sealed his man, but then did not catch the pass cleanly. Pitchford loves that perimeter shot. Williams leaves for Frazier.
Parker doing a nice job getting underneath Frazier, giving him some problems with it, that little guy.
Swing on the switch, picked up by Pitchford, but he stepped on the baseline.
Well, when that used to happen, we used to say, "Where are you going?" You have to understand, you're running out of real estate very quickly. Turn and pass the ball. Don't put your head down and dribble out of bounds.
Turnover number 7 on the Blazers. Pitchford, ball fake, gets a little closer. Rivers over Ollie Hodzik, gets his own rebound. Right back to the rim.
Well, Ollie Hodzik got banged up on that play. Well, David Rivers, just relentless effort in the lane. Lacks a little size, but not heart and toughness, just not to be denied. Keeps that second and third effort. But help side, the pack line defense, you'll see David Rivers here. What he's going to do, he's understanding. He's not going to stay tight to his man. He's going to come over and build the wall. When the ball comes over the top, he's going to wall up on the inside and then get the steal on the lob over the top. This is great help side protection by Nebraska and David Rivers.
So Ollie Hodzik will have to come out of the game, and they'll tend to him. Rivers getting the start this afternoon because of the knee injury suffered yesterday by Gallegos. Rivers also started the first 2 games, while Gallegos served a 2-game suspension for violating team rules. Ollie Hodzik just looks like he's walking it off. I don't know whether he got caught in the midsection, knocked the wind out of him.
It was a below the belt situation for the big guy. I think he'll be okay. Just get a little drink of water and he'll be back.
Great anticipation, and look at the quickness by Parker. But how about the closeout speed catching up by Mahinty?
Well, both teams show a lot of effort on the glass defensively, overplay, and then denial at the rim from the backside on the retreat.
Parker might have been better off taking a more straight line trip to the hoop that time. Gallegos catch and shoot. Goodness.
Sprained knee where? He is flying. He's coming off those down screens and raising up.
11-0 run. There's the screen. Counted in the foul. The screen and roll worked again.
Well, you'd never know. These two teams were a little bit stung yesterday from playing 2 tough ball games, and sometimes the best way to take the sting out is come back and take it to your opponent. Both teams are just getting the ball inside, moving it, sharing it with offensive precision.
One of your keys was pounding the paint. So Robert Williams completes the 3-point play, and it's a 3-point Cornhusker lead. The winner of this one will take on the winner of the Georgia Temple game for 5th place Sunday night, 6:30 Eastern time, and the loser of this one will take on the loser of Georgia Temple Sunday at 2:30 Eastern for 7th place. Mahinty picks up the foul, his first, only 5 on the team.
Well, Nebraska's doing a good job of sharing the basketball, especially with Petaway out of the game.
Gallegos comes around that screen looking to fire. That was Rutgers' first rebound after getting 20 of them yesterday. Washington for 3. He left after 2 early fouls. Biggs faked one way, went the other.
Slide and glide and find the angle. Room, no room. Find some room all the way to the rim.
And Biggs deflected the pass, couldn't save it. Kick out Williams for 3. Gets his own rebound, already his 6th.
It's a little bit un-Nebraska-like, the pressure on the wings, the denial. Usually they play 3-point line and back, but this time their pressure is bothering UAB.
Frazier a little out of control, and Biggs will get the easy layup. Biggest lead of the afternoon now at 7, and Jared Haas wants to talk it over for the Blazers. How's Nebraska done this, Tim?
Well, they've done it with just terrific defense, activity on the ball, bothering them up in the passing lanes, good hands, team defense, and then releasing to the rim. Overplay on sidelines, just deflections. Right now, their quickness overpowering UAB.
And it's opened up a 7-point lead, a 15-3 run by the Cornhuskers. This is the first of 4 games here on day number 2 in Charleston. There are your scores from yesterday, setting up the 2 semifinal matchups today, and we'll be doing that UMass New Mexico game on ESPN2 about 25 minutes after this one ends. They might not need a shot clock in that game.
They might not need one. They don't need one. I mean, New Mexico averages 98, UMass 90. They've got a lot of options. It should be fun because 2 terrific point guards, the Williams, Chaz, and Kendall, but also good inside players, good size, and a lot of different ways to score.
Caddy Lillane averaging a double-double for UMass. Alex Kirk has double-doubles in all 3 of his games this year for the Lobos. Rucker off the glass at it again.
Well, Rucker just rushed that shot as he did at the end of the second overtime. He's got to just gather himself and power it to the rim. Good rebounder, but has to be more efficient with his field goal percentage.
Swing on the roll. It's Mahinty. His pass down low deflected out of bounds. 18 seconds left on the shot clock for the Blazers. Down 7 when we return to Charleston.
November is Diabetes Awareness Month, and more Americans are killed every year from diabetes than breast cancer.
Thanks to a 15-3 run, Nebraska's opened up a 7-point lead over UAB. Back here in Charleston, Bob Picozzi along with Tim Welsh, who coached at Iona and also at Providence. Cornhuskers using the 3-point basket to help get back in this one.
Well, normally they move the ball around and they want to get in transition and want to get to the rim, but today they're showing a different aspect to their game. If they can do this, they can be very dangerous moving forward in the Big Ten because they've got a lot of weapons, a lot of options. They space the floor well. They're sharing the ball well. As with Petaway on the bench with foul troubles, they really spread the wealth. When he's on the floor, he's kind of their go-to guy, but when he's out of the game, they move it around, and today they've had some other guys that have answered.
Sure have. Their bench has outscored UAB's bench 20-6. 18 seconds left in the shot clock for the Blazers. Rolling to the hoop is Ali Hadzik, and that was executed perfectly.
That's the high-low game at its best, and just a nice feed, nice seal. Ali Hadzik back in the game. That's big for UAB. He can carve out space around the rim.
8 points for Ali Hadzik. Pitchford. Biggs with the shot clock at 10. Goes around the Rivers screen, then gives to the screener. Now Gallego will have to beat his man off the hop. Terrific defensive possession for the Blazers.
And that last time out, I think Jared Haas got up in his guys and said, we've got to protect the line and play a little bit more intensity.
Ali Hodzik lost the ball off his knee. 3-on-2 for the Cornhuskers. Parker gives to Biggs. Rebound slapped out to Rivers, and here's a reset.
UAB getting a little careless offensively. Ali Hodzik doesn't need to be pounding the ball on the floor from the foul line.
And a foul will be called on Rivers, setting the screen. His first and 10 on the team. Pitchford departs, replaced by Leslie Smith.
Guard number 1.
UAB has to cut harder on the wings. They're starting their offense way too far out. Yesterday they were successful on ball reverse with getting the ball good angles to the rim from the wing area of the floor.
Frazier gets a step on Biggs, can't finish. There's Rucker cleaning up. Boy, Rucker has the darndest time making the chippies after he does such hard work off the offensive glass.
He needs to just keep working on that because he seems to short arm. He's tried to rush his shot instead of, he's so strong and powerful and explosive that on the rebounds that he has to use that same type of game putting it back in.
He's 2 for 9 today after 3 for 22 yesterday, but he's got 24 rebounds in the 2 games. Watts to Rucker. Kick by Leslie Smith. Shot clock will stay right at 21. Coming up at halftime, Tim and I will take a look at our freshman focus, the new Fab Four. Then some national news and notes from this tournament and others around the country, and first half highlights as well. Big win for Florida State over VCU in Puerto Rico last night. Rebound pulled down by Biggs.
Nebraska very active with their hands, making it tremendously difficult for UAB to get a clean finish at the rim.
Pitchford spins, contested shot, rebound number 5 for Rucker. Tried to get it to Ali Hodzik, but Parker's quick hands got in the way. Another rebound for Rucker.
Well, Nebraska doing a nice job, though, of getting back into the paint and not allowing penetration to the rim out of transition.
Frazier can't finish. Final minute of the half. And Nebraska wants to walk it up the floor, but Tim Miles gives him the hurry-up sign.
Well, with Petaway on the bench for a long period, they must feel pretty good being up 5. But it's really been their defense and their ability to knock down shots.
Biggs starts to go, and he's fouled before releasing the shot. That will be on Rucker. No, it's on Frazier, his first. Only 6 in the team, so they had a foul to give. 6-second difference now. Shot clock, game clock. Smith. Tim Miles doesn't like what he sees, and he will use a timeout to set up exactly what he wants to run in the final 34 seconds of this half. So we showed you what lies ahead for Nebraska. Here's UAB's schedule coming up again. They'll play either Georgia or Temple, then Florida A&M, North Carolina December 1st, and Northeastern. And if you think Northeastern's going to be an easy game, well, ask John Thompson III about that.
I wonder if UAB's ever been to the lovely Matthews Arena. Sometimes a little chilly in Matthews with the ice.
Georgetown beating Northeastern in Puerto Rico yesterday. Also, we told you about the Florida State win over VCU. And in non-tournament play, how about NC State losing to North Carolina Central?
These things happen. And NC State's got a very young basketball team, and early in the season, you play a veteran team, and you talk about veterans. Northeastern was in the finals of the Colonial last year, and Georgetown went just long stretches where they couldn't get good looks against Northeastern's 3-2 matchup zone.
Georgetown today beating Kansas State by 17 in the first half. And I guarantee you that's not what Tim Miles dialed up in that huddle during the timeout.
That's a disaster. Wow. Right there. It's just
write your own caption.
I can't even describe what just happened. I don't think Tim Miles can either. I think he's going to try to forget it.
So now the shot clock is off.
I mean, it was not even any, it was just soft pressure from UAB. It's just not having good awareness out there on the floor of where you are and what you're trying to do.
Can't wait to ask Tim what he said in the huddle. Can't wait for his answer. How late do you wait to go here, Tim?
Well, you want to go now, right now, so you have a chance for a tip in.
Shot blocked, but a foul's called. Foul will be on Parker, and to the line will go Frazier. He's 3 for 4 from the line today, 91%.
Well, you knew Frazier was going to try to make a move to the rim, and really Nebraska should have just held their ground. He left his feet, but when you start leaving your feet and trying to swat the ball out of the air, the official's going to come in and sometimes sit you down.
Jared Haas says Frazier brings experience and maturity to us. He's a big guard who can get into the paint. That experience at the junior college level. 2.4 seconds left, and we saw yesterday a lot can happen in 2.4. Biggs, it will count if it goes, but instead Nebraska will have to settle for a 3-point lead over UAB at halftime. Coming up on our halftime report, join us for a look at our freshman focus. It's Nebraska by 3 at halftime. Between Nebraska and UAB on the second day of the Charleston Classic. I'm Bob Picozzi along with Tim Welsh. Tim, it's a shame there aren't any good freshmen.
This will be all A coming back. So we'll come back.
UAB, are you ready? All right, on your mark. Get set. Go! After all, ladies and gentlemen, all these two look like they could rise twice. Hold their opponent away. This is where it gets dangerous. Take your turn. Go! Negotiated it well. UAB's making it. Unbelievable display of strike racing. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. Unbelievable. Whoa! Never thought it'd be too small for a tricycle.
Track A.
Welcome back to the TD Arena, where it's halftime between Nebraska and UAB on the second day of the Charleston Classic. I'm Bob Picozzi along with Tim Welsh. Tim, it's a shame there aren't any good freshmen in the country this year.
Well, the NBA scouts are getting a lot of work done this year because they're all jockeying for position. Usually you're jockeying to make the playoffs, but I think a lot of teams don't want to make the playoffs so they can be in position to draft these guys, and it starts with Jabari Parker at Duke. For Mike Krzyzewski, a guy that's a very cerebral player, understands the game so well for a youngster, can knock down shots, can get into the lane, can play on the baseline, runs the floor very well, and also can attack defensively.
Julius Randle of Kentucky is the SEC preseason player of the year.
Well, why not? Every game in his college career to this date has been what? A double-double, and he gets it in a lot of ways. He gets it on the baseline. He gets it around the rim. He has an array of moves. Quickness, he can face up and beat you off the bounce, but power game around the rim, a combo of Karl Malone and Wayman Tisdale for Kentucky.
And Randall getting it done at both ends of the floor in the early going for John Calipari's Wildcats. And then there's Andrew Wiggins of Kansas, who's not only the Big 12 preseason Rookie of the Year, he's a preseason first-team Associated Press All-American.
Well, everybody wants to compare these young guys to pros, and rightfully so. This looks a little bit like Paul Pierce, maybe even a Kobe Bryant, the son of ex-NBA player Mitchell Wiggins. He's well beyond his years in ability to score in transition. Kansas, again, should be a power, not only the Big 12, but maybe going to the Final Four.
Then there's sort of the forgotten man of the four, Aaron Gordon of Arizona. Not as hyped as the other three, but maybe as talented.
Sean Miller hasn't forgotten him, and they better tighten the rims out at Arizona because this guy dunks with authority in the lane. A lot of people compare him possibly to a young Blake Griffin.
And these four guys from left to right were 1, 2, 3, 4 in the ESPN 100 their senior year in high school. Which one of them do you think is most NBA ready right now?
Well, I would take Parker just because he just looks so fluid out there on the floor. He's got the combination of the body, the smarts, and the ability, and he's going to play that in that multiple position offense for Duke.
And we mentioned Wiggins as a preseason Associated Press All-America. Who's your 5 preseason All-American?
Well, you know, you get to put those 4 in there for sure. Parker's the only freshman that I have in those, so let them really get into league play and show what they can do, but I'm sure they'll do fine. Carson from Arizona State the other night just put on a show against UNLV. Marcus Smart, look what he did against Memphis. Shabazz Napier may be the best guard in the country. He's terrific for UConn. And then Doug McDermott, a first-team All-American, decided to come back and play for his dad at Creighton for their first year in the Big East.
It is halftime between Nebraska and UAB on day number 2 at the Charleston Classic. We'll be back with more from the TD Arena right after these messages.
Yeah, you're right, Pearlie. You saved my ass again. I know. Just chalk it up. Next time at the Mar Vista, I'll pay it back. I know.
It is halftime between Nebraska and UAB. Welcome back to day 2 of the Charleston Classic. I'm Bob Picozzi and Tim Welsh here at TD Arena, and let's review what's happened so far in the tournament, Tim. Yesterday, Clemson, Davidson, New Mexico, and UMass were winners. Georgia, Nebraska, Temple, and UAB lost their games. Some outstanding performances on the opening day in this tournament. And how about Kendall Williams? We talked about the reigning Mountain West Player of the Year. He lived up to the hype.
Well, his coach, Craig Neal, came into the game saying, I hope he's more aggressive. He needs to shoot more, and he did shoot more. And believe it or not, there was a period of the game where he kind of laid back and wasn't aggressive. I think he could have went for 40 yesterday, but certainly he was the reason they advanced with the game-tying shot at the end of regulation. Just a superb performance.
And a big performance by Damon Brooks, helping Davidson to its first win of the season, and KJ Daniels came up big for Clemson.
Well, Clemson has had the big win over the weekend against their rival South Carolina, and it looks like Clemson is going to be able to get towards the middle of the pack in the ACC. They could be a surprise. They've got great athletes on the front line.
And some national headlines. How about Northeastern knocking off Georgetown in Puerto Rico?
Well, that was a big surprise, and Georgetown was just stifled by the 3-2 matchup zone of Billy Cohen from the Colonial Conference.
And the good news for the ACC, Florida State with the big win over 10th-ranked VCU. The bad news, tough loss for NC State.
Well, NC State just stunned at home, but Florida State caught some of that game, just took it to VCU, gave them a little bit of their own medicine, just beat them up and down the floor to the rim for easy baskets.
Here in Charleston, it is halftime between Nebraska and UAB. Tim and I will be back with first half highlights right after this timeout.
Van Gundy.
It's day number 2 at the Charleston Classic, and at the half, Nebraska leads UAB by a score of 34-31. Welcome back to TD Arena. I'm Bob Picozzi, along with former Providence Iona coach Tim Welch. Well, Tim, the starting guard for Nebraska only played 25 minutes combined because of foul trouble, but they got 20 points off the bench in the first 20 minutes.
Well, Biggs and Gallegos are two guys that can make things happen, and if they can be a spark off the bench or be starters, they're guys that can make things off the dribble happen, also from the perimeter. Defensively, though, they also caused some major problems for UAB with their quickness. They got up under people, and Devereaux Biggs came in and was an instant offense guy. Just got into the gaps, got to the rim, found things in transition. Defensively was good, and also knocked down shots. I mean, Nebraska 5 for 10 from the three-point line. That got them the lead because UAB got to the free throw line, but it was a defensive Nebraska, that peskiness that really gave UAB a lot of problems.
Take a look at the first half stats. Biggs with a big effort off the bench, and despite starting 0 for 5, Nebraska wound up shooting almost 50% the rest of the way. Frazier 11 points and 5 rebounds, and UAB got nothing out of C.J. Washington. No points and only 6 minutes. If Nebraska can get another 20 minutes out of Devereaux Biggs like they did in the first half, they might be playing for 5th place on Sunday. Back with the start of the second half on day number 2 of the Charleston Classic, right after these messages. Welcome back to ESPN College Basketball from the Charleston Classic. We are at TD Arena on the campus of the College of Charleston. And at halftime, Nebraska leads by 3. Still to come today, the semifinals. Up next, UMass and New Mexico. And in our second semifinal, Davidson and Clemson. And Tim, we've already seen some terrific performances in the Charleston Classic.
Lamont Brooks for Davidson just stepped up. Davidson 0-3 coming in, but they didn't look like an 0-3 team last night. And Kendall Williams, the All-American point guard for Nebraska, a special player we'll see next.
Brooks, the preseason player of the year in the Southern Conference for Davidson. On the drive, Pettaway can't get it to go. Pettaway limited by foul trouble to only 12 minutes in the first half. Ty Webster back on the floor. He picked up 2 early fouls and he played only 13 minutes. Pettaway on the drive, forced it and made it happen. He knows what to do with the ball, doesn't he?
Terran Pettaway, sometimes and a lot of times he makes something out of nothing, and that's what scorers do. They find a way to knife in, and he's got one thing in mind. He's not passing the ball, he is getting it up on the rim.
Foul was on Jordan Swing, his first. Tim Miles told us Pettaway's a perfectionist. He's emotionally charged, but sometimes too much.
A little bit too much. It's a mix and matches game. A little bit more. Involve his teammates, but he is a scorer.
Had 28 yesterday. Frazier had 34 yesterday for UAB.
Nebraska, nice job on the ball screen, switching out.
Shot clock inside 10. The pull up by Frazier.
People will know Pettaway in the Big Ten and the Conference USA. He could dominate. He is a big-time guard, Chad Frazier.
Webster takes it to the rim. Rebound, Faro Alihadzik. Quickly the other way, Frazier. Fake left, went right to the rim and won. Third foul on Shields.
A couple NBA scouts grabbed me at halftime and said, how good is this Frazier? And I said, he's very good. He has got the length, the ability to go to the rim under control with both hands. And, you know, he's got the size, Bob. He's 6'4", but also look at the length of his arms. So he plays a lot bigger than even 6'4", and he's got that good rise to the rim and control at the basket.
Averaged 16 points last year for Gulf Coast Community College. He's scoring at a better clip, 17.5 points early in his first season in Division I. Backhand layup by Pitchford.
Well, that's something that's disappointing as a coach off a made free throw, just allowing Nebraska to get to the rim with no resistance.
Been a very quiet tournament for Jordan Swing and Washington as well. First 2 points of the day for Washington. He's averaging 17.
Well, C.J. Washington was averaging 20 coming into the tournament and just quiet yesterday. That may get him going. Got a nice little move around the basket.
He only played 6 minutes in the first half because of foul trouble. Pitchford much more comfortable on the perimeter. Rebound pulled down by Rucker, his 6th. Frazier right to the basket again. They have no answer for him.
Well, they have to get the ball out of his hands. I mean, he's playing the point guard position, but clearly he is looking to score. He's not a guy that's looking to distribute. He wants to get the ball up on the iron, and he's very successful at it.
He has scored 18 of his team's 40. Rivers defended by Ali Hadzik. And we get a whistle and a timeout called by Tim Miles with 14 seconds left on the shot clock.
This timeout, Nebraska better talk about how to defend this guy. I would send 2, maybe 3 defenders at him. He's that good.
A terrific start to the second half for UAB, largely due to the efforts of junior Chad Frazier.
Well, Chad Frazier was unstoppable yesterday against New Mexico at 34 points, but he had 8 turnovers as well. So Nebraska has to find a way to get the ball out of his hands, and one-on-one coverage is not going to get it done, and especially all the way from the top of the key to the rim. Nebraska's got to tighten things up because this guy is special. He's got an array of moves, mostly with his right hand, but he has that head and shoulders fake with the left and great body control at the rim.
This only his 5th game as a Division I player. Great free throw shooter. The one chink in his armor is he's not a great three-point shooter. For the year, just 24% entering today, and he has knocked down 2 of 3 today.
Well, Nebraska must try to get the ball out of his hands, and how do you do that? Well, you know, as a point guard, he's bringing the ball up the floor. Just pressure him and let him enter the ball, and then don't let it back to him. Deny him the ball on the wing, and if he does make his move to the rim, you've got to send a help defender at him right away before he gets into a shot motion at the rim.
Shot clock down to 7 as Petaway. So smooth.
Well, that's great movement without the ball and great movement of the basketball, both by Nebraska. Petaway is very tough on that fadeaway. Spot up.
2-3 Cornhusker zone now. Swing. Oh, forgot to put it on the floor.
You know, we've talked about Tim Miles and diagramming a new defensive scheme on how to slow down Chad Frazier, and that may be the way to play a little 2-3 zone just to keep them off rhythm and make sure you pay attention to him and not let him drive into the gaps.
Right. He seems like he will hurt you more if you let him get to the rim.
Right, absolutely.
Petaway in traffic. Looked like he just tried to draw the foul, and he succeeded.
Well, Teran Petaway moves without the ball, but when he has the ball, he's got the crossover and just kind of drives his man, drives the ball into the defender here. Kind of a bailout call. But Petaway, sometimes the good offensive players know how to sell it.
And it was the 3rd foul on C.J. Washington. So it has been a rough Charleston Classic so far for Washington. He'll have to sit down.
Jared Haas, I don't like that call at all. I mean, your defense is just kind of backing up, and Petaway's out of control. That's the classic bailout.
Robert Williams comes in. He was terrific in the first half for UAB. 6.6 rebounds in 14 minutes off the bench. The no-look pass Frazier, and fortunately Rucker was barely looking, and he caught it.
Well, this is the way to attack a zone. You got to go ball reversal, flash middle, inside, outside, drive gaps, and then get into that gray area around the rim. And then again, Pittsford's hand straight up in the air. He must have got him with the body.
So at the line is Rucker, 6'2" senior out of Salt Lake City. He's the only scholarship senior on this Nebraska team, so the future looks promising for Tim Miles. How difficult will it be, in your view, Tim, for Nebraska to year in and year out be able to compete in the Big Ten?
Well, I don't think it's going to be difficult at all, because this guy, the guy running the show, he's got everything he needs now, and he understands that, you know, you're not going to find players in your backyard. You're going to have to recruit nationally, but they're going to be able to do that now with a combination of the exposure of playing in the Big Ten and the facilities that they have are second to none. So they've got everything they want to sell, including a guy who is a proven winner.
Tim Miles paid his dues. He coached at Mayville State at the NAIA level, then at Division II Southwest Minnesota State, and at North Dakota State. Then went to Colorado State. Went to an NCAA tournament and an NIT there, now in his 2nd year at Nebraska. His counterpart, Jared Haas, getting an explanation from John Gaffney, and Gaffney's colleague, Jerry Pollard, continues to look over at the monitor. They're trying to straighten out a potential discrepancy in the score. We have it as 42-41. That's what it says here in the arena as well.
That's always a problem when we don't know what the score is.
It is a correctable error.
I've played with guys on the golf course that don't know what they shot. But
care to name any names?
No.
Would be from your Big East coaching days, would it? Not any of those.
No comment.
You're making this up. The score is correct.
I guarantee you the guys in our truck know what the score is. We should just have.
Right. Speaking of golf, this isn't a bad town if you're a golfer, is it?
It's painful, Bob, that all this work we have to do down here.
You have to sit next to me, huh?
No, that we have to be down here and not go a little bit east to Kiowa and just sniff the courses out there.
Rivers. Rivers pops out. Penaway drives. Tried to lean in, create some contact, didn't get the foul, but he got the shot to fall.
He's just getting more comfortable with each game as a Nebraska player, just finding his niche, not forcing shots, but just knifing his way and finding that angle that he's comfortable with the finish.
Frazier, Rucker back out swing, nice ball fake, drive, and he'll shoot a pair.
Well, you have to have a scorer in order to compete at the highest level. And this guy can do it in a lot of different ways without the ball, the face up, fade away, and then the drive, and then twist and turn off the window.
It's a 2-point Nebraska lead over UAB, and it's been a terrific performance so far for Frazier, and Tim Frazier has 7 of his team's 11 second-half points.
Well, Frazier can get to the rim, but Petaway is also a guy that knocks down shots and comes up and gets to the rim. Listen, John Petaway can make shots off the bounce, off the catch, in transition, and in traffic as well.
And we revisit our one-on-one. Both of these guys in their first year in their respective programs and not taking any time at all to adjust.
Well, the big question is, Teron Petaway, can he do this in the Big Ten? And I think the answer is yes, because he's a confident player. He's got an array of moves, and he moves without the basketball and scores in different areas. And this guy can score against anyone. Just a 6'4", long, athletic point guard. Now, people are going to lay off him a little bit as the season goes on, and the scouting report is going to say make him shoot from the perimeter and get it out of his hands. So he's going to have to share the ball and be able to be a creative passer on occasion, and also have to knock down that outside shot. But he's got that canny ability to get to the rim with both hands and finish.
Swing at the line. He was fouled by Webster, which was his third. Just as we were coming back from break, John Gaffney came over and said something. Do you explain what they were looking at?
Well, he said that the official score counted 2 free throws by UAB when only 1 out of 2 was made. And I said, John, that's a problem. You don't get it. You don't get a point on a miss. And he said, we corrected it.
All right. Shields. Nice use of the hand. on the floor at the left and switched to the right at the last instant.
Well, the help's got to come sooner. That's a nice finish, though, by Shields.
Swing for three.
Well, the ebbs and flow of this game, it gets choppy, it goes inside, and now the outside starts loosening up. And swing, the face up in Petaway's face.
Shields runs into a brick wall and hits again.
Shields is a promising player. If he gets a little bit of space, he can knife to the basket. That time he didn't have much space. He just used a little power in the paint.
Spin move Frazier, deflected, and we'll get a foul. Foul's going to be called on Webster. That is fourth. It is. Why would Tim Miles have him in the game at that point? Now he's going to have to sit out for a while. He's been in foul trouble this whole tournament. Of course, everybody was in foul trouble in the first game yesterday.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was on Webster. Yes, it was. He wasn't sure if that was on him. He didn't believe it. And we almost had 6 players on the floor for Nebraska.
Well, Nebraska got 20 points off his bench in the first half, largely because of opportunity by foul trouble. Swing has really been thinking much more shot. And how about Frazier with the steal and the layup as Nebraska fell asleep?
They fell asleep on the inbounds play before that. I mean, it happened so quickly, we blinked and missed. Swing with an easy layup on the baseline out of bounds play after Nebraska almost had 6 players on the floor. Mentally, not strong right now for Nebraska, not focused.
Biggs to Shields, takes it to the hoop, knocked out of bounds by Ali Hadzik. Let's take another look at that inbound pass that was stolen.
Well, Petaway got beat, first of all, on the layup on the baseline out of bounds play. Violates or just drops the ball in. It's just disastrous. Just cannot happen.
What's called as a live ball turnover. You'd be better off turning around and throwing it into the Cougar Spirit shop up there on the right. Tied at 50. Coming up next, it will be UMass and New Mexico in semifinal number 1. That will be on ESPN2. Smith tried to block the shot and instead is called for his second foul.
Trying to get the ball inside, and this is what Nebraska's trying to do. They made 5 threes in the first half, but their forwards can really slash and dash to the rim. Shields and Petaway, great uncanny ability to create space while facing the rim.
It's only the second miss for Frazier in 17 attempts from the foul line in the Charleston Classic.
Well, again, Frazier just got into the lane, and he keeps getting into the lane at will. And point guards like Chad Frazier and Chaz Williams from UMass and all the great point guards we know around the country are going to flourish this year with the new rules. If you cannot touch these guys, how are you going to guard them? You better send another defender at them, get the ball out of their hand.
And if you can make free throws like Frazier, you can really capitalize. We will see both Williams point guards in the second game. Kendall and Chaz, UMass, New Mexico. Ali Hadzik beat everyone down the floor, and Frazier found him. Frazier has taken over this game.
Yes, excuse me, Bob. That's Frazier being the point guard that he needs to be. And Ali Hadzik, a nice rim run, just ran right down the middle of the floor, and Nebraska just getting outworked right now on the offensive end.
Petaway on the rebound. Washington goes to the floor. Held ball. Possession arrow will head the other way.
Jared Haas ran this at Kansas. This is the old rim run. This is what they ran at Carolina, and this is what they ran at Kansas, and this is what they run at UAB. The big man runs right down the middle of the floor to the rim, and you better be with him or else he can clear space. And on the catch, this is pretty easy. Just finish.
Ali Hadzik will get a rest. 10 points for the senior. Washington back in the game despite 3 fouls. Mahinty sets the screen. Frazier went one way, then the other. Williams, ball taken away by Parker, but will be called for the reach-in foul.
Benny Parker did a pretty good job of handling that ball screen at the top, forcing Chad Frazier to his left, where he's capable, but he's much more comfortable going strong with the right. So they got to get up on that right hand, force him left, and then give a lot of help.
Already 6 team fouls on Nebraska, so UAB figures to get a lot of free throw opportunities the rest of the way. Swing for 3. And no one blocks it. Mahinty's the one who set the screen, then went in and got the putback.
That's just effort and energy right there by UAB, just attacking the glass, and Nebraska watching, UAB doing.
Biggs tries to answer. Leslie Smith offensive rebound, and he is fouled by Mahinty.
Devrel Biggs has been good, but the bigs for UAB have been special around the rim and in the lane.
UAB outscoring Nebraska by 8. Tim Miles is in his second season as the head coach of the Cornhuskers, and he says this is a very coachable group.
What I really love about our team is our energy level. Our guys are ambitious for work. Some guys you have to encourage to get them to work hard, not this group. I mean, we were in the fall lifting at 6:15 a.m., and we had guys in the gym at 5:30 a.m. shooting. I don't know how many other college kids could say that they're out there working that early, that hard. But our group is a bunch of workers.
And this is what Nebraska has done thus far this season. Tasting defeat for the first time yesterday. Losing to UMass, and it was an uphill struggle, Tim, all day yesterday for the Cornhuskers because they were in such deep foul trouble.
Well, it's interesting when you talk about facilities and developing and building a program. I go back to even 6-7 years ago when Texas had their brand new practice facility. Everyone says, well, why do you need a new practice facility? Not only because recruiting, everybody wants to play in nice facilities, but it's great for the players to have a place where they want to come to and work every day. And we have a great practice facility. The guys are going to want to get there early in the morning and work on their game and be around all the time. And that's why I think Nebraska's program is headed in the right direction with the facilities and that guy right there.
And when you have your own practice facility, you can practice whenever you want. Whenever you want. You don't have to do it around a schedule of other events, which is the case for teams that don't have the facility. Williams drives. Nice finish.
That's very un-Nebraska-like. Letting a player drive all the way from the corner on the baseline and get to the rim. The help is very late, and that was a strong move to the rim and good body control by Williams.
Nice ball fake by Biggs. Tried to dump it down to Petaway. Deflected out of bounds, 17 to shoot. Biggs up top, drives by Frazier, hits the runner.
Biggs has shown a lot of different aspects of his game today. The quickness, body control, ability to shoot from the three, and his strong defense on the ball.
Frazier shoots over the smaller Parker and nails the three.
Well, if he has that piece of his game moving forward, I don't know how you defend him. And just rising up, using that length and strength over Parker.
He's got 58 points in this tournament so far. We approach the midway point of the second half with UAB up by 6, looking for a spot in the 5th place game on Sunday night at 6:30 Eastern time. Biggs loses the handle. Pettaway picks it up.
Well, Pettaway just bailed Biggs out on that one because Biggs drove into trouble and didn't know what to do. He was trying to force something out of nothing. And this is what guys that have a nose for the ball and a nose for the rim do. They pick it up and they deliver and they finish.
Pettaway and Frazier have been far away the best players for their teams the last 2 days. He's got 11 second half points, Pettaway. Williams, low block. Ali Hodzik wants to go at Pitchford and does. Didn't hit the rim. Shot clock didn't recycle, but Nebraska comes away with it. Pettaway end to end. Weak side help from Swing.
That's where Pettaway has to have a better understanding. Nothing was there.
Frazier. Why would Jared Haas want a timeout here?
He just wants to celebrate, I guess. Other than that, they've got a lot of momentum because this guy, Chad Frazier, is just lighting it up. First half from at the rim. Now Pettaway driving 1 against 3. No, thank you. Unfortunate decision, and then they don't retreat on the defensive end of the floor and find UAB's best player. A no-no for Nebraska. They're the ones that needed the timeout to talk about things.
So how in the world, if you're Tim Miles in Nebraska, what adjustments can you possibly make? Everything you've tried in an effort to limit this young man has been unsuccessful.
Well, you've got to put somebody a little bit more size on him right now. I mean, he's just shooting right. He's trying to post up Benny Parker. And also now in the last couple of possessions, first possession, he shot over the top of him. And on that one, it was just a bad offensive move, which led to, at the other end of the floor, Nebraska not getting organized defensively. You see Ty Webster probably will get out and try to check him, but he's in foul trouble. That'll be difficult as well. They've got to give early help and early denial on Frazier. But you know, again, it goes down to offensive execution. You take bad shots, usually the other team's going to come back and get a good one at the other end.
Webster back on the floor for Nebraska despite 4 fouls. Now playing with a 3-guard offense with Webster, Pettaway, and Parker. Pettaway down low gets the layup. Nice dish from Shields.
I guess that's why Jared Haas called the timeout. He wanted to switch defenses to the 2-3, but Nebraska, nice job executing.
And here comes Frazier again, and will shoot 2 more from the line. He got hit pretty hard.
Well, you've got to get into the gaps against the zone. And Nebraska, very well schooled. They have the spacing. They flash from the weak side. They drive. Ball handler picks up 2 defenders. When that happens, good job of recognition, head up, and then sliding into that open vacuum on the backside.
That was the 4th foul on Siobhan Shields.
Well, we talked earlier about pushing Frazier to his left. That's not seeming to work either because he was very smooth and creative and strong to the rim on that move with his left.
Of that 8 for 12, he's 4 for 5 from 3-point range. Was a 23% shooter for the season from 3 entering the day. That will change. Of course, all of these percentages are skewed because teams have played so few games. They can change in either direction in a hurry.
Looks to me like he's a guy that can knock down shots. That's for sure. He's got great form and solid release, solid base to his shot.
Tim Miles got hip checked into the officials table on the far side by Jordan Swing, who got the rebound but then couldn't control the ball.
UAB stays in the 2-3.
Get it in the middle of Petaway, and he lost the handle, got it back. Gallegos three.
That was created by the ball going inside first, and that's the best way to beat the zone, Bob. Just shrink the defense, go inside it, bring it in, and then pitch it back out before they can recover and close out.
Swing. Ali Hodzik set the screen, then rolled to the hoop, and Swing hit him. Pittsburgh contested three. He'll shoot three.
Beating a zone is pretty simple. You go inside, and then you go outside before they recover. Nebraska trying to hang in from the three.
Would you like an ESPN t-shirt? Make some noise! How about that? Oh, here they come!
UAB down three at the half, now up by four, largely because of Chad Frazier.
Well, I don't know how you guard this guy, Bob. You've got to make sure that you get up in his face, and then when he gets into the lane, the help has got to come very early. You've got to face him and send two defenders, maybe three at him, because he has that uncanny ability to get to the rim. And then now, today, showing that picture-perfect jump shot from the three-point line. Hasn't shown that up until today, but he is going to be a tough out all season long in the Conference USA. Long, strong, heady, and quick, and comfortable.
What was that question I asked you about an hour and a half ago? How in the world are these guys going to be able to rebound 18 hours after that agonizing defeat?
No problem. Go home, get on their iPhones, text their girlfriend. They already forgot about the New Mexico game. Get up, scouting report, breakfast, and let's play ball.
And give the ball to number 13.
That's the great thing about this sport versus college football. You have to think about it for a week after you lose one of those games. Mark Rick still hasn't slept after the Auburn game last year, the head coach at Georgia.
Oh, that was as tough as they come last Saturday. Pittsburgh shooting three because he was fouled, attempting a three. Nebraska, on the other hand, talking about football, was the benefactor of a wild and wacky ending earlier this season, scoring on a touchdown pass on the final play of the game. They may have been the two wildest finishes in college football this year. Williams takes it right to the rim. He's been great off the bench today.
Well, that's what he wants to do. That's where he operates and makes his money down there on the baseline. Every time he gets, he just puts his head down, goes to the rim. Nebraska has to face him and meet him outside the paint before he gets an angle to the rim.
Webster finds Gallegos. Here's Petaway. Let's see if he tries to take Williams off the bounce. He does. Shot blocked.
That's where Petaway usually finds an angle to create, but UAB just holding their ground inside. Good defensive set.
Rucker sets the screen, then rolls. Williams thought about the shot. Instead gives it to Frazier. A rare miss. Rebound last touched by Ali Hadzik.
Half-court offense of UAB has been creative in a lot of different ways, and really that was created by Ali Hadzik setting that pick inside, just sealing off the help from that mid-post area, sticking that chest of his into Pitchford.
The three-point shooting's been terrific by both teams.
That's good coaching by UAB, just having your offensive player seal the help as the ball comes into the lane.
Shot clock down to 10. Webster gets in traffic. Rucker reached in, tied him up, held ball. Possession arrow will keep it here, but only 8 seconds to shoot.
Well, this is good team defense. This is what Nebraska needs to do on the other end of the floor when Frazier drives in. You see Webster trying to get all the way to the lane, but the help comes and gets in front of him.
Comes out to Pitchford. Webster, shot clock at 2. Deep shot by Shields. And rebound batted around into the hands of Rucker, his 8th.
Well, that's Webster not having a lot of experience and understanding what the clock situation was. Dribbled it back out. He should have attacked right away with the clock under 8.
Also, it doesn't look like he has much confidence in his shot. Rucker spins. He went right at Shields.
Rucker, when he doesn't think about it, he makes those quick moves to the rim. He's pretty under control and can finish with strength.
Webster's only taken 3 shots today, has yet to score.
And he's getting schooled a little bit by number 13, Frazier.
This time he takes it right at Frazier. The dump down pass to Shields, and he's fouled by Rucker.
Well, that was a good move, though, by Ty Webster. He got a good angle. He's under control off his left hand and dished it inside. You see good spin with his left. Good recognition. The help side didn't drop down quick enough for UAB.
Shields can't get the first one to go. His coach, Tim Miles, says Shields does all of the right things. He's our best help defender. Named the Big Ten Player of the Week in the first week of the season, back on November 11th. Entered this one averaging 15 points per game. 5-point UAB lead, 5 minutes left. The winner will play the Georgia Temple winner on Sunday. The loser will play the Georgia Temple loser. Low block, Ali Hadzik went right to the basket.
Oh, big fella just sliding into that vacuum in the middle of the 2-3 zone, and nice feel, nice finish.
Shields. Petaway trying to create himself. Good work off the offensive glass by Shields.
Well, UAB gets into the gaps, they spread the floor, and then they look inside. The big guy just pins up Pitchford. He's got to do a better job, Pitchford, of getting around. He's just kind of playing defense, sitting right behind Ali Hadzik, and that's a recipe for disaster. He's going to kill him inside if he does that. He's got to be tough in there with the big man.
Foul on Rucker is second. Shields will shoot. So, Tim, yesterday it was UAB's inability to hang on to the lead which cost them the game. that kind of thing linger in the back of your mind when you find yourselves up 6 as you come down the stretch?
No, I don't think so, because there's no Kendall Williams in Nebraska. But, they're playing with a lot of confidence. They played with a lot of confidence yesterday, right up till 10 seconds to go in the game. So I like this guy at the end of games to finish games. You keep the ball in his hands. Chad Frazier, he seems to make all the right decisions.
UAB led New Mexico by 6 points with just under 12 seconds left in regulation and lost in double overtime. Rucker cleans up his own miss and will shoot a couple of free throws.
Well, UAB did a nice job. They set an inside screen against the zone, which created a good angle for Rucker, and he battled and he missed and just pushed Nebraska out of the way and said, I want this ball more than you do.
Second foul on Pitchford, 8 on the team, and Rucker will shoot 2.
Well, right now UAB is pushing Nebraska around in the paint. Nebraska looks like they're losing their will to finish this game off with toughness, and looks like UAB is just, their physicality of their front line with Ali Hodzik and Rucker is just too tough for Pitchford and Shields.
Cornhuskers need to discover some of that energy that Tim Miles talked about earlier in the broadcast.
Again, right there, Ali Hodzik just shoving Pitchford out of the way, and Pitchford playing more like a 2-guard than a 5-man on the defensive end of the floor. Just that's why Tim Miles is going to put Leslie Smith back in the game. He needs somebody in there to battle.
Under 4 minutes. How about that?
Again, that's just Nebraska playing with their hands down. No resistance at all. That's a nice play by UAB, but that's Nebraska's fault all the way. They did not play it at all on the back line defensively.
Great communication between the passer and the receiver. How did this happen?
Well, it happened. You see everyone in Nebraska with their hands down, and that's pretty simple. No pressure on the basketball, no pressure on the backside. They set a little rub screen on the back of the zone. This is a set play, but nobody even moving until the ball goes through the net, and that's too late, Bob.
So who decides when that play is going to happen? Is it eye contact between the two players?
No, that was a set call from the bench. What happens is the backside forward comes up and screens the back of the zone for the wing player and just releases the back. That's a play that goes back to Dean Smith. He used to run this for North Carolina, and the North Carolina family always trades their secrets in the summer, and you'll see it on the backside here. What they're going to do is just set a little backside screen on the back here, and they're going to go lob pass here. And look at Nebraska, though. Everybody's got their hands down. No ball pressure on the top here. This is very, very easy. Watch, they'll screen the back of the zone. It's way too easy. Nobody even makes an attempt to get over the top of the screen. And we've been watching that play for years. And it's easy when you don't defend, but it's also easy when you got a guy who can go catch it and bring it home.
That was hardly Dean Smith's only innovation, was it?
Well, the great thing for years is Dean used to bring all his guys, his coaching tree, and they have a week-long seminar in the summer, and they trade all their secrets. You could never get inside that Dean Dome to figure out what they were running and what they were doing, but a lot of good stuff. And Jared Haas runs a lot of tremendous stuff, and that was one of them.
And of course, Roy Williams, part of that tree, and he coached Jared Haas. Haas coached under Roy at Kansas and at Carolina. Now he's the commander of his own ship. Headaway hits a badly needed 3.
Well, UAB has to understand that's the guy that's going to pull the trigger, or else they will be in that situation they were in yesterday.
It was a 2, not a 3. His foot was on the line.
When you don't play defense and you've got special plays and special players, this is what happens. UAB physical on the back line and at the rim.
got a t-shirt. Come on now.
Back in Charleston, here's our game summary. And how about that, Tim? 81% shooting in the second half for the Blazers.
Well, they've knocked down a couple shots, but they've got out in transition as well. But basically, they are beating Nebraska up at the rim and finishing with authority. This is the first of 4 games here in Charleston today. 2 of the remaining 3 will be in the semifinals, beginning with UMass in New Mexico. We'll have that one for you on ESPN2 about 25 minutes after this one ends. Tonight, Davidson and Clemson. And then next November, here is the partial field. 6 of the 8 teams are in. We'll get a look at Frank Martin, South Carolina. Andy Enfield will bring USC. And Miami, coming off a disappointing loss to UCF last night, will be here in Charleston next November. Actually, Miami was just here last week, and they defeated the College of Charleston. College of Charleston has a home game actually on the day off. Tomorrow playing Furman here in this building at 6 p.m. Just in case you're not doing anything on your off day, Bob, you can come over and see some more hoops. Charleston was in the tournament here last year. Charleston, Clemson, and South Carolina are staples in this field. Always try to have a South Carolina entry. This year, Clemson. Next year, the Gamecocks. Clemson won the first Charleston Classic back in 2008. UAB playing tremendous help defense. Webster for 3. Rebound pulled down by Rucker is 9th. That was a clinic on how to play position off the ball defense. Every time Nebraska tried to get into a gap and create an angle, they saw 2 and 3 defenders running at them, playing the passing lanes. Rucker will draw the foul. We mentioned how Rucker yesterday had a nightmare shooting performance from the floor, 3 for 22. He was 12 for 13 from the line. Well, he does something that not a lot of people can do. Go get the ball off the glass. And that's what you try to teach your players. Try to do something that no one else wants to do, and that's how you get recognized. Everybody wants to score. Well, that's something everybody looks to. But this is something, this will get you in the lineup and help you win games. Go up and get up on the glass. Who was the best offensive rebounder you had in your 10 years of Providence, Tim? The best offensive rebounder, a guy named Aaron Maxey back in the old days, and he was undersized. Sometimes, you have to be strong. You don't have to be long. You don't have to be big. You got to just have a nose for the ball and a will to go get it and anticipate every shot is going to be missed. And a lot of that is natural instinct? A lot of it is, but a lot of it is heart and desire and toughness. You got to know Moses Malone over the years and going on a few golf trips with him with the coaches, and he just talked about, hey, every shot ever went up. I just thought it was going to, right? I thought it was going to be missed. Right. How's Moses on the golf course, by the way? He's a better rebounder. Aggressive? He's a better rebounder. Aggressive. Gallegos, 10-point lead. Nebraska's got to score in a hurry. Shields with the miss, and Webster cannot run down the rebound in the corner. Tim Miles told us in practice on Wednesday, when you come to these events, your goal is to get out of here with at least 2 wins and maybe steal 3. Well, unless they can make up a 10-point deficit in 2:04, they'll still be looking for their first one on Sunday. Just kind of some quick shots. Shot selection a little iffy right now. Nebraska, they can't panic though. They got to just try to play solid and get the ball inside and go to the rim quickly to set up their press. Frazier to Rucker.
Shot clock down to 10. You don't want to foul this late in the possession, and I mean, no sooner did I say it than Smith does it.
Well, that's just comes to having an understanding of time and score, and that's again why you play these games. I mean, there's only so much you can teach and put in and pound into your players, and but now it has to be moving forward. How do you win games at the end? And that's not how you win them when you let the clock run down and then all of a sudden a careless foul to put them on the line.
Fourth foul on Smith. Next game, UMass and New Mexico. You looking for a bounce back performance by Chaz Williams with UMass, who had a rough game yesterday, plagued by foul trouble?
I don't know what New Mexico is going to do with him defensively. That'll be the interesting component of the game. You know, who they put on him. And it clearly won't be Kendall Williams. They don't like to match him up with a top offensive player. They want him just to run up and down and be free. So I think Chaz, he's knowing and watching Chaz over the years, I think he will have a big-time game today.
The putback thrown down by Shields following the Webster miss. Tim Miles will get a timeout. 1:25 left, but still a lot of work to do, down by 10. We will have that UMass New Mexico for you on ESPN2 about 25 minutes after this one.
Well, good ball screen at the top, and then that's what good offensive rebounders do. They just attack the rim, and UAB just gets caught. Everybody going to the basketball, nobody retreating from the weak side. But this is how Nebraska, if they're going to get back in the game, has to do it quickly to the rim, not taking contested outside shots.
This is our bracket, and those are your matchups on the right in the semifinals. UMass and New Mexico both unbeaten. And then tonight, Davidson, who entered the tournament 0-3, beating Georgia last night. And Clemson had a big turnaround in that game. Fell behind a lot early and won comfortably over Temple in a rematch of the 2008 Charleston Classic Final. It'll be fun to watch Damon Brooks of Davidson tonight.
Well, it will, and Davidson, a nice bounce back from an 0-3 start with an impressive win last night. Offensively, just clicking on all cylinders.
Rucker gets past Shields.
Well, you can run out the clock and wait for him to foul, or you can spread the floor in the C's part and send Nebraska home. Well, the beauty of this tournament, Bob, is that you wake up, have breakfast, walk over to this beautiful arena, and you tee it up again, and if you can play solid basketball, all is forgotten that happened yesterday for UAB.
Robert Williams knocks it down.
And they will be in a situation again, I'm sure, during the season that will mirror yesterday, and they will learn from their mistakes. Giving up a quick bucket when they're up 6 and then fouling to stop the clock. So they'll benefit from what happened, and today they came out with a lot of energy in the second half. They've got good shots. They attacked the rim. They tweaked their defense in the second half to control the pace and not allow Nebraska in the lane and contest every shot.
Shields just committed his 5th foul. He will be replaced by Parker, and Swing will go to the line. UAB trying to get back to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2011. They finished 16-17 a year ago and lost to Southern Mississippi in the quarterfinals of the Conference USA tournament. This is going to be the 700th win in the history of the UAB program.
Well, I think they're a team that will definitely be in the top part of that league. With the league changing, with no Memphis, no Houston, no SMU, no Central Florida.
Well, that's the last thing you want to do if you're UAB. Stop the clock by fouling, much less fouling a guy who makes a basket.
Well, that's what they did yesterday, but it was a 6-point game with 12 seconds to go, and they gave a 3-point play up, and that's why they lost the game, because at the end of games, you just have to understand where you are. You can't play the end of the game like you play the middle of the game. And that's another teaching point.
Webster completes the three-point play, but it will be too little too late. Still down 12, 40 seconds to go, and Nebraska probably won't even bother fouling here. Frazier followed up his 34-point effort yesterday with another 32 in this one. Ali Hadzik with the exclamation point.
Well, very good coaching by Jared Ass. I'm not talking about technically, I'm talking about mentally. I'm sure he got his team together last night and this morning, and they talked about yesterday's game, but they got focused for Nebraska and came out with a lot of energy, good game plan, played with toughness and togetherness, and they'll go a long way this year, just the bounce back that they had today.
So UAB wins it and goes to 4-1. Nebraska slips to 3-2. UAB will play at 6:30 on Sunday night Eastern Time in the 5th place game against the winner of the Georgia Temple game tonight. Nebraska will play at 2:30 Eastern Time in the 7th place game on Sunday. More college basketball from the Charleston Classic. UMass against New Mexico. 2:32 is the tip-off time on ESPN2. For an archive copy of this entire game, log on to watchespn.com or download the Watch ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN. For Tim Welsh, I'm Bob Picozzi. So long from Charleston.
All right, good job out there. 2:30, and I guess 2:30 we're going.
Yeah, they got a couple minutes.
So we're going to need a lot of warm-ups coming up here, guys.
Don't forget to